Hey there, posture peeps. Justin Archer here, aka the Posture Guy, your #1 source on pain, posture, and performance, here today to share with you one of, if not the most important lessons I have ever learned in my entire life. I try to apply this to pretty much everything that I do, and this is some advice that you've probably been given before. You've maybe even given to someone else before, so it's not something new, but I want to share with you how it applies to things like pain, posture, performance, and your overall health and wellness today, all right? And the advice is, or the lesson is, work smart, not hard, right? I told you, you've probably heard that before. But before I get into how this applies to health and wellness and fitness and performance and all that stuff, I want to kind of give you some context as to how I learned this lesson, all right? Now, this is a lesson that I learned from my stepdad. And if he's watching this, he probably knows where I'm going with this. And maybe watching this, he'll laugh, maybe he'll cry. He might kill me, I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, we used to live in Fillmore, California. Believe it or not, on Fillmore Street. I know it's quaint, right? Fillmore Street in Fillmore. And if you don't know where Fillmore, California is, Google map it. It's a little town about 45 to 60 minutes northwest of LA. Again, cute, quaint little town. It's very lovely. But we used to live there on Fillmore Street, and we had a big tree in the front. Well, actually, we had a big tree in the back, too. It used to be the biggest tree in all of Fillmore. But that's a whole nother story. I digress. But the tree in the front had a lot of leaves, and it would lose its leaves, and we'd have to rake it up. Well, I was probably between the ages of 10 and 12, and my stepdad thought, all right, it's time for Justin to learn how to rake. And so one day he basically showed me, how to hold the rake and how to rake, for the most efficient piles, so you don't have to, so you don't have to work hard, you work smart. And so he was showing me how to do it and everything, and my mom came out and, asked him, I said, well, what are you doing? And he says, I'm teaching Justin to rake and work smart, not hard. And so she saw that I was kind of struggling with it and, doing this wrong, doing that wrong. And my stepdad would come over and say, no, you're doing it wrong. Let me show you and everything. And this went on for maybe 10, 20 minutes until finally my mom said to my stepdad, I think he's got the lesson. And my stepdad goes, no. He doesn't, because look, he's doing this and this wrong. And she goes, sweetie, yeah. And every time he does that, he notices you come over and take over, so you're doing the work for him. And damn it, Mom, why'd you tell him? I could have really milked that. Because that was what I was doing. Obviously, raking isn't hard. It's very simple, but I just did not like doing it. I'm sure there's people in the world who love raking. It's therapeutic, but for me, I hate it. So I was just plain dumb and, which end of the rake do you hold? And rake in circles, squares, octagons, whatever. And I noticed that every time I did that, my stepdad wanted to step in and help me. So that's how I learned the lesson of working smart, not hard. And I thank him for that, because like I said, I apply this to pretty much everywhere in my life, right? And I look at, when you're trying to get a job done, whether it's raking leaves or losing weight or improving your posture, I break something like that down into processes, right? What needs to happen for that ideal outcome to happen? And then how do you make each of those things most efficient? Because I always, I say this to myself, but also I say it to friends, family, clients. I personally, I love hard work, don't get me wrong, but I always tell people hard work should be like a last resort. Work smart so you don't have to work hard. You can work smart and work hard, but working smart is just so much better, all right? So case in point, let's bring it back to your body, right? Well, I've known a lot of people to use kind of what's known as single factor focused thinking when it comes to improving their body, right? So for example, someone who has lower back pain or hip pain, and they're trying to get out of pain. And they're doing some exercises that I've recommended, whether it be on the site or I'm working with this person one-on-one. And they're doing the exercise, they might be spending an hour and a half, even 2 hours a day doing exercises. And, they'll get some temporary relief, but then they get back in pain, and they just keep trying and working harder at it and doing more exercise and trying different sequences of exercises, and it's just not working out for them. And they go, Justin, what the heck is going on? And I go, you're working hard, not working smart. Because you're focusing, you got the blinders on, and looking at just the biomechanics. You're not looking at the biochemical or neurological aspects of your health. And by that, I mean things that I've talked about before here, things like your breathing, hydration, sleep, nutrition, stress, and, movement and exercise. Movement and exercise are more biomechanics, but some of those other things they're not really paying attention to, and so if those things aren't optimized, they're taken away from. They're basically robbing the efforts and energy they put into the exercise, right? It's like, for example, spending a lot of time, money, and effort souping up a car, right, and putting all kinds of stuff on it to have more horsepower, more torque, and go really fast, and then go watch, and you drop the clutch, go on the accelerator, but you leave the parking brake on. It just doesn't make sense, right? They're self-conflicting things. So again, let's bring it back to health and fitness. Take that person with lower back and or hip pain, and they're trying to do exercise to get out of pain. And this isn't a theoretical person. These are examples of people who I've seen, again, working with one-on-one, and they're not getting the results they want. And then they do something like increase their water intake because they were chronically dehydrated. And then they eliminate, a couple foods that they were eating that they were sensitive to. And then all of a sudden, the exercises that they were doing are yielding more results. In fact, they don't have to do as many exercises, and they don't have to do as many repetitions or hold an exercise for as long a time to get the same effect, or actually even get a better effect. Yes, they still have to do the exercise, that's part of it, but the results they get from it are a lot more effortless. It's not trying, it's not pushing, they're not trying to make change. They're optimizing other foundations of their health, like breathing and nutrition and stress and sleep and all this stuff, so that it could synergistically support their efforts in exercise. So that's what I mean when I say work smart, not hard, because if you're just doing exercise, if you're just looking at your pain from a biomechanical standpoint, right, joint position, all that, don't get me wrong, that's very important. I'm the posture guy, I love that stuff. But if you're ignoring things like your hydration or your nutrition or your sleep and things like that, the exercises aren't going to be able to give you the best results they can possible. Because if you do say 30 minutes of exercise to get your body in a position where, your lower back and hip no longer hurt, great. But if in your previous meal you had 3 or 4 foods that your body's sensitive to, now the energy that it would have to go towards maintaining that tone and tension of the muscles to hold your bones and joints in the proper position so that you no longer experience any of the symptoms, the lower back and hip pain, now that energy is going to be redirected to fight off the biochemical reactions from eating those sensitive foods. You know what I'm saying? Another example is people who say, I'm very inflexible, and they'll spend half an hour or an hour doing stretches, and they'll feel loose for 5-10 minutes, and then their body goes back to being really tight. And they're not addressing the elephant in the room, which is you're 175 pounds and you're only drinking like 4 glasses of water. Well, no wonder that the stretches aren't maintaining the benefits you feel a few minutes after. It's because your meat, your muscle, is so chronically dehydrated, it's turned into beef jerky. And we all know, you ever try to stretch beef jerky? It either doesn't stretch at all, or it rips and tears. Well, that's what's going on. You need to hydrate your meat, rehydrate your meat, to turn it into a nice supple filet mignon that has some suppleness and give to it. And when you do that, you notice, I don't have to do an hour's worth of stretches. Maybe I can do 15 minutes. And the results I get from that are better. I have better range of motion, better flexibility, and I don't have to do, again, as many exercises or hold them for as long. So again, those are just a few examples. I can go on and on with this, but that's just a few examples of working smart, not hard, when it comes to your body and your health and your wellness and your overall performance, whether it be physically, cognitively, whatever. And this is a perfect segue into some things we're going to be talking about Saturday. And if you don't know what I mean about Saturday, this coming Saturday, April 26th, from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm going to be hosting theposherguy.com's first ever live event. And I'll put a link to it down below, either in this video somewhere here, or down below this video player, so you can check it out. But I would definitely recommend you go over to that page, click on the link. It'll take you to the event page. On the window it'll say, this event or whatever starts in, a day and a half or 2 days, whatever. There's a little countdown timer. But in the upper right hand side, there is a comment section. And what you can do is go ahead and jot down a question you would like to have me answer live, because we're going to definitely be doing a lot of Q&A. And so that way that question's already there. And if you see a question that someone else has already asked, you can upvote it. You can basically +1 or like it, and that'll put it towards the top of the list. So that way I know, hey, more than one person wants to know the answer to this question. So I'm going to really make sure that I get to that answer and answer it for you. All right? And then while you're over there, if you wouldn't mind liking, or in YouTube it's a thumbs up, and Google Plus they call it a +1, but liking the video, and then subscribe to the channel, the Posture Guy YouTube channel, if you haven't already. And basically what that's going to do is help people suffering from chronic pain and that are looking for this type of help, find this video, find this event, so they can ask their own questions and get help from it as well. All right? So, and going back to today's topic, which is working smart, not hard, this is a perfect example of working smart, not hard. I totally would love to be able to do this on my own. No, I take that back. I would not want to do it on my own. I'd like to think I can, but here's the thing is I can't. I can put out this content, I can inform people, but when it comes down to it, I need your help. And so if I break down basically these systems, that's not a word, systems, or processes, and I look at how do we spread the word, how do we get the word out there to help the most people possible, because that's the real goal here. It's to how do we reach as many people as possible and help them live pain-free and active lives without limitations. Well, it's not by me sitting here in front of the camera and running my yap about pain, posture, performance, and all this stuff. It's about us as a family reaching out to other friends and family and coworkers and loved ones and anybody that you care for, and sharing this with them and say, hey, join me on this, come on board, and you can learn a lot as well. And so I definitely do think this isn't about you or me, it's about we as a family. And I definitely can't do this on my own, and like I said, I wouldn't want to. I want to do this with you, and I definitely do need your help. So if you can share the link to that event page, again I'll post it down below, with everyone that who you think could benefit from information like this. If you've been a long-term viewer, the type of content information I put out both weekly and daily, then tell them to join us on the event. All they have to do is click that link. They can ask their own questions in the comment section, and they can like it, and they can subscribe, and they can share it with other people. And that's where we start to move that needle and really make some change in the world, is by getting the word out there. All right? So for those of you who do share and who are going to be attending, I thank you very much. I'm so grateful. And I also thank you on behalf of everyone else that I know we're going to help change their lives. All right? Because I know they're going to be fortunate to be on there. They're going to be appreciative, and I already am. So thank you guys very much. Go check out the event page. I'll link to it once more below. There's going to be links everywhere. And I look forward to seeing you this Saturday. It's going to be an absolute blast. I look forward to seeing you all there. Until then, take care and keep moving.